Hello, it's Brian. Hope you're well. Sorry, this one's a little creepy, but get going. But what I did want to do is stress the importance of the most recent dump of files provided by Las Vegas Metro Police Department. So, WEGOEG and LVSA have both shared the links to the documents, and WEG has already made a video sharing a lot of the data himself. So that was great of him and LVSA to do to keep us updated. Now you've got Levi, Las Vegas's statement. You've got Bitsko's statement. Hey, what's up, Amy? You've got Terpsis or Tripsis. I forgot how to say his name. You got Matchgo's statement. Sirs, you got their statements. And their statements don't make sense when you match them up against each other and against what we've seen in the body cam footage. So I'll give you a quick example. So one quick example is Sergeant Matchko was in charge of collecting the evidence and relaying it after. Hey, what's going on? Matchko was in charge of relaying the evidence back to, I think it's the Fusion Center, because they say it's the anti-terrorism center. I think it's a Fusion Center. So him and Tripsis, I don't know how to say the name, Tripsis, um, were supposedly moving Paddock's body around. Like I thought, like crime scene people should be taking care of this, but they said, "Oh no, exigent circumstances." So it's kind of funny how they work. So they waited like an hour and a half to go into his room, and then and then it's exigent circumstances why they need to mess with the crime scene. I mean, it's interesting. So anyway, Matchko mentions that Levi and O'Donnell. Now O'Donnell's the guy who accidentally fired his weapon, shot up the room. That they left and came back and took their own pictures. And this is after Matchko had moved stuff around himself. So I guess that explains why some of the pictures all look different. Again, is that when did they do these interviews? Did they do these interviews recently or not? If you can't hear me, thanks for letting me know. I appreciate it. So what? So one of the interesting things here might be my placement of my where I am on the iPad. Let me know if you can't hear me. Thank you for that. So, so then Levi, then you've got let me. So Levi talks about the accidental discharge also. So Levi mentions that there's an accidental discharge by O'Donnell, but they don't tell anybody else about this accidental discharge. You would think that if you just shot up a room, you'd be like, "Hey man, everyone okay? Everyone okay?" But it's a surprise to everybody. It's such a surprise that in Donaldson's statement, Donaldson basically says Donaldson basically says he didn't hear any shots. They ask him about this. They ask him specifically if there's any shots. Donaldson was in the room just feet away. How could he not know that this dude accidentally fired his weapon? That doesn't make any sense. The other thing that's interesting about O'Donnell is Donaldson mentions that O'Donnell came running into the room. I think that's super interesting. O'Donnell came running into the room. So because he was like down the hallway with the other crew, he wasn't, in the stairwell. So O'Donnell comes running in just in time to shoot up the room. And then him and Levi sneak back later on and try to take their own photos. What is up with that? What what is up with that? This is crazy. This is absolutely crazy. Where was Rouse and his crew? So they're just letting Las Vegas Metro do all these shenanigans? I mean, what is this? Wasn't this the most important crime scene in U.S. history? And you got guys running back and forth. I mean, this is crazy. Um, just ridiculous. Another thing that's interesting in this is the bracket. So multiple officers mention that the bracket was put up by security. I think Levi mentions it, and Tripsis, however he says his name, mentions it as well. And then in the statement, Bitsko mentions it also, but he says, but that's not true. That can't be true. What? So Bitsko says, yeah, a security officer said that, but it's impossible, so it can't be true. Oh, what great detective work. Let's promote you to lieutenant. I mean, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous. If you look at another thing, that's interesting is the room 134. So the way Levi makes it sound, and if you look at the video, it supports this. Um, if you look at the video, what you'll see is they open the door wide open, and they're totally exposed to that 134 room. They're totally exposed to that 134 room. So they don't even nobody even like mentions it. They mention the stupid cart, with the baby monitor on it, and there was a baby down the hallway. I think that's an interesting coincidence. So they mention the cart, but they're opening that door and they're totally exposed to that room. So then Levi notices that the door's open. So he tries to open it, but you can't get into the other room because it's locked. So how I didn't understand that. How did he get back and forth to that other room because it was locked? So that's interesting. So then that's when Levi's like, "Oh, this room's locked. So I should just blow up the door instead of just using a master key because they're all the dudes are in the hallway anyway and they're already exposed to the door." But he's like, "No, I think I'll blow this door up." I mean, what? How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? So then he blows that door up, and now the SWAT guy who's with him, who just ran to catch up, shoots off a bunch of rounds. But Donaldson, who's only feet away, doesn't even hear about it and never even notices it. So they actually probe him in his interview, and he's like, yeah, no, no, nobody fired any guns, nobody fired anything. So it is like a movie plot. This is just crazy. It's real interesting to look at their recent statements. I mean, everything is wide open right now. I mean, these are the major players, and their statements make no sense. I mean, they really don't. The best is Torbers. Is it Torber or something like that? The, he's the guy who watched the door. If you look at his interview, it's funny. It's like they read a paragraph to him, and they're like, "That's what happened, right?" Yeah, yeah, that's what happened. And then they read like another paragraph to him. It's it's just interesting. It's just interesting. So anyway, I'm gonna get going, guys. But this is just a quick shout out video. I wanted to let you all know. I want to thank you for joining me, and we got a lot of work to do because this stuff doesn't make sense. And these are the major players. I mean, these guys, this stuff makes no sense. You got to read these links. Uh, it's super, super interesting stuff. I mean, it doesn't make sense. The Levi story too. Levi mentions in his statement that he ran into Bitsko and Newton at the elevator bank. We have the body cam footage. It doesn't show that he didn't run into them at the elevator bank. He ran into them like on the 32nd floor in the opposite wing. And then in Levi's statement, he mentions that he took the elevator down. They ask him specifically, "Did you take the stairs or the elevator down to the 31st floor?" And he says, "Oh, I took the elevator." They ask him specifically. I mean, this is crazy. We need Mueller on this. We need Mueller to. We need because Rouse. I don't know what Rouse was doing. What were his guys doing? I mean, if Levi's guys can leave and come back and take photos, and then Match goes like, "I don't know, I didn't want him taking photos, but he said his boss wanted the photos," and then they're like, "Well, his boss is the same guy you were sending photos to," and he's like, "Oh." I mean, it's just weird. Matchko's statement is weird. Levi's stuff like is weird. This dude O'Donnell runs like he's trying to get somewhere real fast, and then he shoots. Oh, shoots the